sports fans, welcome to Cochise County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lally Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leon team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, eXp Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Live and in full HD, only on Cochise County Sports Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cochise County Sports Network as we broadcast live from Sunnyside High School in Tucson, Arizona, as Buena travels up north to take on the Blue Devils. We're honored tonight to be joined by Coach Thomas as he's taking a few minutes out of his pregame routine to answer a few questions for us. So how you doing, Coach Thomas?
Doing good. Excited about tonight.
Good. What are some keys to the game you're looking at tonight, things you have to fix from last week and so on to come away with a win tonight?
On the offensive side, we want to definitely make sure we can get the run established like we had been in the past. With the run being established, then we can take care of some play-action passes. On the defensive side, we just have to make sure that we are consistently disciplined, and that's something that we didn't do a great job of that last week. We were disciplined, but we weren't consistent enough in it, and I think that if our defense can stay consistently disciplined, then we're going to be doing okay on that side of the ball as well.
Yeah, that running attack this year has really been anchored by Caleb Bryan and Timothy Jones. Can you talk a little bit about their differences and comparisons when you decide to run them or not?
Both strong kids. Caleb, he's an outside guy. He's a shifty guy. He's a counter guy. Tim Jones is a downhill type of guy, off tackle. He'll stick his nose in there. So they do complement each other. If the teams are tightening it up inside, then we'll be able to have something outside. If they're spreading out a little bit, then we can do some things inside. So they do complement each other. And normally when one is playing well, the other plays well. So if we can get those guys going off at the same time, then it's going to be a good offensive drive.
And throughout the year, it seems like you've been giving Gio a little bit more freedom in the offense to create with his legs and both his arms. What kind of growth have you seen in him this year to give you that confidence in him?
Well, as a junior, he had to start stepping it up a little bit more. And with that, it's not a matter of if he's ready or not. You kind of just put the ball in his hand and let him know, hey, you got to run a little bit more. We knew we want him to run a little bit more this year, so that way he wasn't taking as many hits. If I want him to stay in the pocket and just throw, then that kind of leaves his legs out of the equation. He's been running well. He made some plays for us with his legs. He's scrambling with his legs to keep drives alive for us. So, going into his senior year next year, he's doing well as far as being a dual threat, and even so, more so next year, we expect that he runs a little bit better and still throws better as well.
And you talk about Gio's a senior, but most of the kids on this team at those playmaking positions are seniors. Can you talk a little bit about the effect the senior class has had on the program, especially the last 2 years and the growth you've seen?
Well, they were there when it was rough, freshman and sophomore year. They were there when we weren't where we needed to be, and they got stronger, and they got faster and had some success last year, and that kind of went into this year. So they're, developing, showing that they're part of a developing program. So a lot of younger kids look at them and they know where they came from and they see where they're at right now. So pretty much those guys setting the example, and not having a mentality that's not positive. And we want to stay positive, and those guys, they got to make sure that they set the example.
Yeah, and tonight Buena has a chance to go on through to the playoffs. They need a little bit of help from the outside, but if they can come away with the win tonight, that'll put them at 3-2 in the section, right there on the cusp of the playoff picture. They're ranked 18th right now. Have you been looking at the rankings and seeing what needs to happen for you guys to make it in?
I look at it myself. I don't explain a lot with the kids because I only want them to work on and think about controlling the controllable. And the only thing we can control tonight is winning this game tonight. You know, that's the only thing we control. But of course, me as a coach, I'm looking at it, the different scenarios, this, that, and the other. And some teams in front of us will lose. You know, whether the points match up and stuff like that. But you know, we win tonight, then we have a chance to go out and do something. So you know, we just got to control what we can control, and that's playing this game against Sunnyside tonight.
Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate you taking some time to join with us tonight, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Buena Colts marching team out here tonight. They're going to be giving us a little bit of a show, so just stay tuned. We'll turn the audio back on just here in a moment. This is the Colts competition song, Marching Through Joy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Cochise County Sports Network. Coming at you live tonight from Sunnyside High School as the Buena Colts are ready to close out their season with some potential playoff options here. We're looking at a couple of teams ahead of us on the region standings, and if certain teams lose, they're going to drop down below us. This should be an easy win for us tonight here, hopefully. So this could potentially mean, and we'll know more by tomorrow morning, about 10 or 11 a.m., it could potentially mean that the Colts have a chance here at the playoffs, which hasn't happened since like 2012 or 2013, something like that. So that would be really awesome. We were just, I think, 3 places out of the playoffs last season, so that would be really awesome. Audio's all good. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem by the Buena Colts Marching Band. They've got a national competition coming up here the end of this week, I think tomorrow, over at Ironwood Ridge High School. Not sure of the exact date or specifics or anything like that, but they're out here just getting a little bit of practice before the match. As you folks can see, our countdown timer is finished, so we're going to be getting ready to start tonight's match here as the Sunnyside Blue Devils get ready to enter the court here, the field. We're joined again by Mr. David Landstra. He is our reporter/broadcaster for these events, so he's going to be going over all of the stats with you guys, giving you guys play-by-play throughout the entire match. So big thanks to David for coming out and offering that to us again. That was actually the Buena Colts that were coming out onto the field. The Buena Colts are in a white jersey tonight, and the Sunnyside Blue Devils are going to be in the dark blue jerseys. So we're getting ready to start here shortly. We'll go ahead and do a coin toss, and we'll get right into tonight's match. David, I'm leaving it to you. You take it away.
Thank you, Levi, and everyone welcome to Sunnyside High School. As we come to the end of this sectional competition, and the last game will be between the Sunnyside Blue Devils and the Buena Colts. The Colts come in with a record of 5-4, the section record of 2-2, and Sunnyside comes in. I have too many papers in front of me, so I can't flip through them fast enough. Sunnyside comes in with a record of 4-5 with a section record of 1-3. The rest of the section sets up with Cienega up top at 0-4 or 4-0, and they will be taking on Ironwood Ridge, who Buena lost a close game to last weekend. And then the last game of that will be Marana versus Nogales. And how it stands now, Buena comes in ranked 18th in the state. And as Levi was saying, 16 teams make it to the playoffs. There are 7 automatic bids, and then there'll be 9 at-large bids. It looks like that magic number to get one of those at-large bids will be getting into the top 15 in the state. So Buena needs a little bit of help in front of them, but some of the games set up really nicely for them. Ironwood Ridge is in front of them, but they have a really tough game against Cienega. The number 16 ranked Maricopa is taking on number 12 Gilbert, so one of those two will fall and most likely fall out of the top 16 as well. And then after that, it's kind of Buena needs someone to pull an upset, and there's a few games to be watching. If we get any score updates on those, we'll be sure to pass them along to you. But for now, we'll be focused on this game between the Buena Colts and the Sunnyside Blue Devils. And Sunnyside won the toss, and they've elected to defer. So the Colts will be receiving the ball to start this game. And coming in tonight, the big storyline is how the Colts can bounce back. Last week against Ironwood Ridge, they allowed 420 yards of rushing, and it doesn't get any easier against Sunnyside as they like to run the ball a lot. They're averaging right at 200 yards a game running. So the key to the game will be Buena putting them into those passing situations and taking advantage of it, as Sunnyside has attempted only about 100 passes this year, so they're not comfortable doing it. But Sunnyside does have 2 running backs that are over 500 yards, one of which is averaging right at 10 yards per carry. So the Colts are going to have the work cut out for them to try to keep those backs hemmed in. But that being said, the Colts also have a dynamic duo in the backfield with Timothy Jones and Caleb Bryant. Caleb Bryant comes in, and he's already surpassed 1,000 yards for the year, and he's averaging almost 8 yards a carry, and Jones is a little bit behind him, but he's their big power back, and he has half the carries of Bryant, but he's right at 500 yards of rushing and 6 touchdowns. They're their 2 big workhorses in the backfield, And then that's backed up by the creative play of quarterback Gio Bourbon. The game comes down to those three players. And we have a flag on the field before the game even starts. And that'll be a delay of game on the Sunnyside Blue Devils as they did not take the field in time. So Sunnyside will be starting at a slight disadvantage. They'll be kicking off from a little bit farther back than the 40. I'm actually never seen that penalty before, so I'm not sure if that's a 5-yard penalty or a 15-yard penalty. But that was a flag before the game even starts, before Sunnyside's even on the field for that matter. I hope that's not indicative of how this game goes. We like to see the refs keep those yellow hankies in their pockets and let the players play. Looks like it's only a 5-yard penalty, so Sunnyside will be kicking off from the 35. And Buena is set to receive with Caleb Bryant. Back deep for the Colts is Caleb Bryant. Their big play guy when he gets in the open field. Let's see what the Colts can do, see if they can open up some lanes for him. This will be a short kick. It'll be taken by Hernandez. Oh, and Hernandez is able to corral it around the 15 and bring it up to about the 21-yard line where he stopped. That's where the Colts will take over for the first time tonight. So last week, Sunnyside took on Marana, and they got beat handily. They lost 47-17. Marana was able to throw the ball all over the field on them, and that's really what Marana likes to do. So we'll see if Coach Thomas saw anything in that, was able to take anything away from that game and implement it in their own defense or offense. As Gio comes out with Jones and Bryant flanking him. It's a quick handoff to Jones, and he loses his footing and goes down for no gain. So last week was the first game in a while that Buena didn't have a running back get over 100 yards rushing, as Bryant was held at just 84, but he did get in for 2 touchdowns. And he gets his first chance here, and he's able to cut up field for a short gain, and I'll set up a 2nd and 8 or 3rd and 8. We had Coach Thomas with us earlier tonight. He was kind enough to answer a few questions before tonight's game. And we really asked him about what he thinks of that stable running backs he's got with Timothy Jones and Caleb Bryant. And he's like, they are very different backs. Jones likes to keep it up the middle, run over people. Bryant gets on the outside, but he wanted to mention how hard each of them works during the week and in the games. They're both working extremely hard to master their craft of running the ball. You can really see it in the Buena rushing attack. And there we get to see a skill of Gio's really mastered going into the year as he pulls people off with his hard count. Gio's able to do that 2 or 3 times a game against the last 3 or 4 weeks. And that's just a free 5 yards for the Colts. And Bryant takes up the middle, but there's not much room. He's brought down for a 1-yard gain. And it looks like Coach Thomas isn't even going to think about this. He's sending out Parker Tebow to punt this ball away. Doesn't want to take any risks this early in the game and give the ball to Sunnyside in great field position. So he's going to trust Tebow to punt it away, try to push Sunnyside as far back as possible. Tebow with a nice high kick. It's going to land about the 35. And that's where it's going to stop dead for the Colts. And that's where the Blue Devils will take over. But there is a flag on the far side of the field. And that's a personal foul against the Blue Devils. It looks like it was after the kick, so that'll be that 15-yard penalty will be marched off where the ball came to rest. So Blue Devils will actually take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. That's a big break for the Blainer Colts, as it was modest starting field position for the Blue Devils, but if the Colts are able to force a 3-and-out here, make them punt it away, the Colts will get great starting field possession for their second drive. But it all starts with this first play from scrimmage. The Blue Devils drop back to pass, and that pass is incomplete, intended for number 19. And he did have some room out here against Miles Garrett, but it's just a little high and it bounced off his hands. So right out of the box, Sunnyside is breaking some of their tendencies. Sunnyside is a running team, and they come out on the first play and throw it. I expect here they're going to hand it to their big back and just try to gain some yards on the ground. And the handoff goes to the first man through, and they're able to push forward for about a 5-yard gain. So this is an early, important 3rd down play for the Blainer Colts. Try to get their defense off the field, force the Blue Devils to punt it away. As the Blue Devils come out in that modified flex bone offense made famous by the Navy midshipmen at the next level. The Blue Devils look out, and he actually gets it out to number 19, and he's tackled by number 9, Miles Garrett, but not before 1st down and a gain of 10 yards. And Sunnyside's proven all that practice you do and all that research means nothing as they come out and break their tendencies on 2 of their first 3 plays, rising up and throwing the ball. Last week they only attempted 3 passes for the entire game, so the fact that they're already at 2 is very surprising. And again, the handoff goes to the first man through, and he finds a little hole. That's number 28. Gets up for a 9-yard gain. And now the refs are actually saying the refs are now giving it a 1st down on that run play, so that'll be a 1st and 10 for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. We'll see what the Colts defensive line can come up with here to try to slow down this running attack. Handoff goes to number 3, and he's met by Jesse Avante. And there is a flag on the field as that play was stopped for a 1-yard loss. And that is a hold against the Blue Devils. They've already racked up 2 early penalties here for 25 yards. And this is going to put them well behind the chains. And that's really what Sunnyside doesn't want to be at, as they're not comfortable throwing the ball very much. They're an under 50% completion rating for the year. They only have 2 touchdown passes for the entire year. So they do not like to throw the ball. But when you're 1st and 20, you have to throw the ball, try to get those chunk plays. And we'll see if that's what they decide to do here. Quarterback rolls out to the right. 7 steps up to stop it, but he finds number 3, who is met by Martinez with a hard hit, but number 3 is able to hang on for a 12-yard gain. No, it's not. That'll bring up about 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils. And again, they're proving everyone wrong, coming out, throwing the ball early. 2 for 3 for 22 yards on this drive alone. Here's their flex bone offense. And two players go in motion at the same time. That'll be a legal procedure. Pushing them back again, another 5-yard loss. So I'll push them back to about a 2nd and 11 for the Blue Devils. And again, they find themselves behind the chains, not where they want to be with the offense they run. But so far tonight, they've proved that they're willing to throw the ball if they have to, and they're willing to get and they can get a lot of yards out of it. Fake handoff number 3, and pressure is applied by number 7. He's able to sack the quarterback for minimal loss, but that'll set up a 3rd and 12. That sack by the Colts was by number 7, Jacob Murphy, a senior, who's trying to propel Buena to play at least one more game at the state playoffs next week. And with more plays like that tonight, he might be able to put the team in that position. Number 13, oh, that's a little trickeration from the Blue Devils, and that's able to gain them 14 yards. That was an underneath handoff after the rollout, and that's enough for a Sunnyside first down. That's a very interesting play that you don't see very often, but with this flexbone offense, that play is very possible, and as you can see, it catches teams off guard because it looks like the quarterback's going to roll out here right, but then he hands it off underneath to that flex back. And if you get those linebackers flown with the quarterback, it creates lots of open holes in the middle. Handoff to number 28, and he finds a little hole, gains 7 yards on the first down. We haven't seen any option looks yet from this Blue Devil offense, and that's really what you expect to see from the flexbone. But right now they're using it to their advantage as they're creating a lot of mixed direction with motion before the snap, faking to one back, handing it to the second back through. It's really throwing the Buena Colts linebackers off a little bit. And again, two of the backs went in motion for the Blue Devils, and that'll be a legal procedure, 5-yard penalty. That's already the Blue Devils' 4th penalty on this drive for 35 yards. And that really is what stalled them out. They already have 56 total yards of offense, but those 35 yards of penalties have really negated that. And here comes a reverse to number 4. And Caleb Bryan does a great job of keeping contained, but he can't get the tackle. Number 4 breaks away, and he is chased down by number 7, Jacob Murphy, but not before a 25-yard gain. Caleb Bryan had a chance to make that tackle for minimal gain at the line of scrimmage, but number 4 was able to put a good move on him and break away from him, and then that put it on Jacob Murphy to chase him down and tackle him before he could get to the end zone. And that'll bring up 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Blue Devils. As we have more whistles. And now we get the clock winding. Handoff to the first man through, and he's met by Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, that is number 70. Senior Ruben Alvarez for the Colts with the stop after a 2-yard gain. That'll bring up 2nd and 8 for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Number 13 gets up under center, and again, same play, but running back loses his footing in the backfield. And that'll be no gain, bringing up a 3rd and 8. And here we go, another 3rd and long 7, we'll call it, for the Blue Devils. That's a great opportunity for the Colts to get off the field, or at least give the Blue Devils they'll have to make it. And it looks like we have an injured Colt on the field. But as I was saying, this is a 3rd and medium, we'll call it, as it's 3rd and 7. And if the Colts can come up with a stop here, that'll make Sunnyside make a decision. I don't know much about their kickers, so I don't know if this is in their range or not. But if the Colts are able to keep this at 3rd and 5+, that's a very important decision early here in the game for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Do they take the point or try for the points with a field goal? Do they trust their offense to get that 5 yards, get that first down? But it all comes down to this. Well, it all starts with this 3rd down play as there's 3 minutes left in the first. Fake to number 3. And Jesse Avante is able to get in there and come up with the 2nd sack for the Buena Colts. That's a loss of 5. And this makes that decision very interesting for the Sunnyside. And I apologize, that was Jesse Avina with the sack. Thanks to the Buena coaches for correcting my pronunciation. And it looks like Sunnyside is going to attempt this field goal. It's about a 39-yarder. The Colts don't look like they're buying it, though. They're in a field goal safe with 6 people in the back expecting a fake. And the kick's up. He's got plenty of leg for that. But it is no good. And the Colts are able to come up with a stop after a very long, sustained drive from Sunnyside, but they come away with no points, and the Colts will take over 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. So Colts come out for their 2nd possession of the game after their defense comes away with a big stop inside the red zone, keeping the Blue Devils off the scoreboard. Gio's going to get up under center, joined in the backfield with Jones and Bryant. The pitch out to Bryant, tries to get the corner. He's able to, but there is a flag on the play. That's thrown in the vicinity of holding, and that's exactly what that call is going to be. So there's the Colts' first penalty of the game, and that'll push them back 1st and 20 from their own 10. So this is the first time tonight we see the Colts behind the sticks. They've been here a lot this year. They do get penalized quite often, unfortunately. And they're not opposed to the big play, so we'll see what Gio can come up with here as he rolls out to the right, tries to reverse fields. But he is bottled up by that defensive line and loses 2 yards. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 22 for the Buena Colts from their own 8. And this is really dangerous situation for the Colts inside their own 10-yard line. Long ways to go to get that first down. We'll see how aggressive Coach Thomas decides to be here. He did mention before the game he loves seeing the growth that Gio showed this year taking care of the ball. So see if he places that trust in him, and he will as Gio drops back to pass, and he looks long down right to Miles Garrick. Or Mandrell Garrick. That falls just past him, and I'll bring up 3rd and 22 from their own 8-yard line. Right here, I expect the Colts just to try to get some yardage, get their punter out from the shadow of their own end zone. You never want to be punting from inside your own end zone, and that's what they'd be doing right here if they don't come away with some sort of yardage on this play. It's very unlikely to pick up the big 22 yards needed. So we'll see how safe and conservative Coach Thomas decides to be. The handoff goes to Brian. He's taken down in the backfield for a loss of 4, and that makes this punting situation that more tenuous, as it'll be 4th and 26 from their 3-yard line, and there's a late flag on the field. That's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Blue Devils. Now march off 15 yards. Now, since it was a dead ball penalty, that is not an automatic first down. It's just a 15-yard mark-off. So I'll bring off 4th and 12 from the 18-yard line. And there's another flag on the field. And that'll be a sideline warning against the Colts. You get 1 free warning. The next one will be a yardage penalty. And Tebow boots it away. That's a great boot, getting it down to about 45, and it's bobbled. And the Colts come up with it. And he does. That is a muffed punt. And the Colts come away with it. Number 7, Jacob Murphy, comes up with that muffed punt, as he's been all over the field early on. And he was Johnny on the spot there. The returner dropped it and bounced right into Murphy's hands, and the Colts will retain possession. 1st and 10 at the Blue Devils' 44-yard line. Gio's in the backfield with Jones and Bryant. It goes to Jones up the middle, and he's just pushing his forward, is what he likes to do. Throws his body into people, runs over people, and comes away with a 15-yard gain. And the Buena Colts first down. That is Jones's forte. Get him the ball with a forward head of steam, and he is a hard man to bring down. Inside handoff to Brian. He makes a good cut up the middle. Now he tries to get to the outside, and he's taken down after a 14-yard gain, and another first down for the Colts. As the first quarter comes to an end, 0-0, the Colts are driving 1st and 10 at the 14, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Sports fans, welcome to Cochise County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lally Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leone team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, eXp Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils, live and in full HD only on Cochise County Sports Network.
And we're back here for the start of the second quarter, finding the Colts driving, and the handoff to Timothy Jones as he finds some room up the middle and takes number 14 for a ride down to the 1-yard line. And that's a gain of 15 yards, and I'll bring up 1st and goal for the Colts. And the Colts hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they have a play in mind that they want to use right here. And that is just give it to Jones. Let him push forward, and he's brought down short of the goal line. I'll bring up 2nd and goal. The Colts tried to catch the Blue Devils sleeping there with the quick snap. Unfortunately, high school football, you do have to give time for the chains to reset. And during that time, the Blue Devils were able to set their defense. They were ready for Jones on the power play up the middle. That'll bring up a 2nd and goal for the Colts. They have plenty more opportunities to push this in and pay off this drive with a touchdown. Gio's joining the backfield with Jones and Bryant. And handoff goes to Jones, and he's able to get into the end zone for the first points of the game as Buena takes the lead, 6-0. And that drive saw a healthy dose of Jones and Bryan as they combined for 7 carries and 38 yards to take the lead after that muffed punt. And now we see the Colts swinging gate. Extra point attempt, and they're just going to get into their normal formation and let Tebow kick this away. Kick is up. And it is good, and the Colts take a 7-0 lead early here in the second quarter on a drive that started on a muffed punt by the Blue Devils. It was great coverage by the Colts to get down there right as he was catching it, and that created enough pressure that he bobbled it, and Jacob Murphy was able to come away with it, giving the Colts great field position, and they're able to pay off the turnover with 7 points. Kicking off for the Colts is number 44, Cody. As he's turned into the Colts kickoff specialist, proving he can get it all the way to goal line or pooch it short if he finds an opening to hit it into. And they're going to let him kick it here. That's fielded about the 5-yard line. The Colts are trying to. He's able to get outside, but good tackle by number 32 of the Colts, keeping them to a modest return on that, and the Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. So that first drive for Sunnyside really surprised us. They came out and threw it 3 times, which is more attempts than they had all last week against Marana. But they also proved that they're able to run the ball as they ran it for 65 yards on the first drive, but it ended in a missed field goal. So it was all for naught. So we'll see what they come up with here on their second drive. Handoff to number 2 around the right. He's able to find a little bit of crease, put his foot in the ground, and get upfield for 1st down. The Colts are going to have to try to find a way to plug those holes in the middle. This is what plagued them last week as they gave up 450 yards rushing. And so far, they haven't had much answer to this Sunnyside rushing attack. So it looks like they're crowding in on those A and B gaps in the middle with a nose guard and two defensive tackles. But Sunnyside goes around the right side. And he's able to take the edge, and he's in a foot race. We'll see if Caleb Bryant can get there. And Bryant gets there, but that's a nice cut back by number 3, and he's able to take it to the house for a 62-yard touchdown run for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. There is a flag on the play right at the 50-yard line. And that'll be a hold against Sunnyside, and that'll bring that touchdown back. They'll knock it off the board. And the Blue Devils will actually gain yards on this as they'll set up a 1st and about 8 yards as the 10-yard penalty is marked off in the spot of the foul. brings that 66-yard touchdown or that 62-yard touchdown run all the way back, and it'll be a 1st and 8 from the 40-yard line. And that's a huge penalty in this game, as that was obviously a big momentum shifter for both teams. So we'll see what they have in store coming after this, and that's followed up with another penalty, and I'll push them back even farther. 1st and 13. So far, Buena hasn't had to do much to stop Sunnyside. Sunnyside has just stopped themselves, as they're already up over 6 penalties for the game at more than 50 yards. And then when you count in that 62-yard touchdown that's taken off the board, it's even more. And the inside handoff goes to number 4, and he finds some room. And he's forced out of bounds by Martinez, but comes away with a 20-yard gain or 15-yard gain, and that's a 1st down for Sunnyside. Sunnyside's using a lot of misdirection, getting the linebackers flowing one way for the Colts and then cutting underneath with another running back from that flex position. And they're coming away with huge yards each time they do it. Colts are going to have to find an adjustment to shut that down, as here's that flex bone offense again. Another inside handoff to number 2, but he's stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. That was a great play by Jacob Murphy to blow up that timing and allow his defensive line mates to get in there and make the stop for no gain. Sunnyside tried to come away with the exact same play that they ran one play previous, but the Colts weren't buying it that time, as they were able to get a little bit of pressure in, blow up the timing, and then the flow from the rest of the defense is able to get there and take down the running back for no gain. And we see a new look for Sunnyside as they bring 2 wide receivers down here to the near side. But they give it to the first man through, and he's able to find holes. And the safety, number 4, Martinez, brings him down after an 11-yard gain. The 2 wide receivers down here were just window dressing, as it spreads the Colts defense out a little bit, and then they just hand it off right up the middle, and there's a lot of room for them to find. The Blue Devils quarterback Joseph Lopez gets up under center, hands it off to number 2. Finds room over that right side again, and he's pushed out of bounds by number 4, Martinez again, but not before a 20-yard gain and another 1st down. Jaden Martinez for the Colts has done a great job being that last line of defense, coming away with multiple tackles on this drive. But you really don't want your safety making that many tackles, because if he is, that means they're getting chunk yard plays like that last one for 20 yards. But it's great to have a sure-handed tackler like Jaden back there. And the Colts are going to call timeout, so Coach Thomas can talk to his defense a little bit, get them settled down, get them back into their disciplined form that he wants them to be in. And the Colts safety is actually number 4, Jaden Hernandez. I apologize for that, as Jaden's having a great game so far, coming away with sure-handed tackles. And that play goes up the middle, and he's taken down after a big gain of 15 yards, and that'll bring up 1st and goal for the Sunnyside. This is the first time Sunnyside's been in the red, or second time tonight they've been in the red zone. They came away with 0 points the first time, and this time they're pushing forward, trying to get into that end zone as that goes right down to the goal line. But the Colts are able to push them back, bringing up 2nd and goal from inside the 1. And this is where that power running attack for Sunnyside really takes over. There's not a lot of room to operate. And they don't need much for that running game as number 3 takes it in for the Sunnyside touchdown. And that drive was just Sunnyside getting back to what they do best. 8 plays, 77 yards, all on the ground, including that huge 62-yard run that was taken back by the penalty, but they didn't care. They just kept pressing forward and coming away with points as they try to tie it up here with the kick. And that kick is up and good, and with 8 minutes and 17 seconds left in the second quarter, we're tied 7-7 here at Sunnyside High School in Tucson, Arizona. Everyone out there, we appreciate you watching and tuning in to this Cochise County sports broadcast of Buena High School Colts football. If you could do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button on Facebook, get this out there to your family and friends. Show some support to the school, to these kids, especially to these Buena Colts seniors who are in their last regular season game. Number 80, CJ Vasquez for the Devils is kicking it away as Caleb Bryant stands around his 15-yard line ready to receive. And this is another short kick. It's going to be fielded at the 35 by Mandro Garrick, and he's able to find a little bit of room over here on the right side. If he can, one man to beat. And he is pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Blue Devils, giving the Buena Colts great starting field position here as the Blue Devils tried a short pooch kick, but Mandro Garrick got under it and found room over here on the right side and is able to push it forward for a great return. Let's see if this Buena Colts offense can pay off this awesome starting field position and take this lead back from the We got trips up top for the Colts. And the handoff goes to Brian over the left side. And he picks up a few blocks, but there is a flag on the play. And Brian's taken down after a 7-yard gain, but there is a flag, and it will be a holding call against the Colts. And that will bring up a 1st and 20. So far this game, we've seen a lot of that yellow hanky coming out on the field. Penalties against both teams, stalling drives, forcing offenses into bad situations like this one, 1st and 20 from the 50-yard line.
After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 20 for the Colts.
And the Colts come out with the same formation. Trips up top. Gio and Brian in the backfield alone, and out comes another flag. And that's a false start against the Colts, bringing up a 1st and 25. Huge shout out to Levi, our producer over there on the computer, putting in that graphic for the down and distance for us this week. Helps keep me aware of what's going on the field. Helps the fans stay aware as well. As it comes up to a 1st and 25 for the Colts. 1st and almost 30, actually. Gio drops back. Has a lot of time, but now he's scrambling around, and he can use his feet to run. And he comes away with about 8 yards. That was a great job by the Colts offensive line, giving Gio plenty of time to scan downfield, and he didn't like anything he saw, but he did see a little bit of gap open up over that left side, and he steps up into it and is able to get him away with 8 yards, cutting into that down and distance. Brings up a 2nd and 17. Hand off to Jones, flips it back to Bryant. On the reverse, he gets a block from Gio. And Bryant does the rest, but there is another flag on the field. There's 2 more flags on the field, actually. And I think this is going to be a hold against Gio. And that will be a hold against the Colts, negating that big 15-yard gain by Caleb Bryant. And I'll bring up 2nd and very long. And I'll bring up a 2nd and 25 for the Colts. Colts come out with a 4 wide receiver set. It's only Gio and Jones in the backfield. Gio looks to throw, and he finds Jesse over the middle. Jesse spins forward for a gain of 19, and I'll bring up a 3rd and 7. And that was just all verticals from the Colts. All 4 wide receivers went straight down the field. And Jesse was able to find a nice little hole between the linebackers and the safeties. And Gio put a great ball in there, cutting into that huge down and distance, and brings up a manageable 3rd and 7. And the Colts come back out in that 4 wide receiver look, but they're putting Jones out at receiver and keeping Brian in the backfield with Gio. And Gio again uses his hard count and comes away with an offsides penalty against the defense. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 2. So how quickly this went from a 2nd and 25 to now a 3rd and 2. And the Colts have a very manageable 3rd down here. Coach Thomas has to be happy with that and see what he calls here, try to keep this drive alive. Hand off to Brian up the middle. He's met early, but he's able to fall forward for 2 yards, and it looks like a Colts 1st down. And that is a well, actually, the refs are talking about it, and they do agree that it is a 1st down. And that'll be 1st and 10 for the Colts from the Blue Devils' 30-yard line. Colts come out again in their 4 wide receiver set. And they have Brian on the swing pass. He has one guy out there, and he hurdles over him. And he pushes forward for 5 yards, but that is not allowed in the high school game. That looks really good, but it is not allowed. So that'll be a penalty against Caleb Bryant. So that is a personal foul against the Colts, and that'll bring up a 1st and 25. And the Colts again find themselves behind the chains. First and 25 from the Blue Devils 48, it looks like. Gio rolls out here to the right. He finds number 7. That's Jacob Murphy. Again, he's all over the field tonight, making tackles on defense, coming up with plays on special teams, and right there catches a 10-yard completion. That'll bring up 2nd and 15. That's a great start for the Colts, trying to get back in front of the chains, get this into a manageable 3rd down again. They still have a lot to work to do with it. 2nd and 15. They're going to have to come away with at least 7 or 8 yards here to make it a manageable 3rd down. Handoff goes to Jones over the left side, and he pushes the pile forward, and he comes away with those 7 yards, and he'll bring up a 3rd and 8. And with 4 minutes left here in the second quarter, the Colts are trying to keep this drive alive, having multiple 2nd and longs, 1st and longs. As it looks like we have an equipment issue with one of the Sunnyside players, as he's going to have to sub off for at least one play. This brings up an important 3rd and 8 for the Colts. Back to their 4 wide receiver set. Gio's flush from the pocket, and he's looking for Jesse, and he throws him here on the sideline. That was great pressure from the Sunnyside defensive line, forcing that overthrow. I'll bring up a 4th and 8 and see what Coach Thomas decides to do. And the Colts are, Coach Thomas decides to take a 2nd timeout before this 4th down attempt, and he looked like they had the offense out there for a second, but right now Coach is flanked by both Tebow and Gio. Both are probably in his ear trying to get him to go their way. Tebow wants to give this a shot. It would be about a 46-yarder, and he's proved he has the leg to make a 46-yarder. But at the same time, there is no wind here in the stadium tonight, so it's all about his leg and his accuracy, and I think he can do it. He's proved that he has the leg for it. Watching him in pregame, he makes it out to about 50. But at the same time, Gio has to be in Coach Thomas's ear saying, give me a shot at this. Let me make a play. And he's proven all year that he can do it, either with his legs or his arms, coming up with 9 yards. And it will be the offense for the Colts that comes out onto the field. Colts come out with a 3 wide receiver look, two on the top, 1 down here on the bottom. Jones joins Gio in the backfield. Gio's looking, and he's got Brian over the top, and he overthrows him in the back of the end zone. It was a wheel route from Caleb Bryant from that slot wide receiver position, and Gio just missed him as Brian had a step. And Sunnyside will take over at their 30-yard line, 1st and 10, with 3 minutes left here in the second quarter, with an opportunity to take the lead late in the first half. We'll see what the Sunnyside offense decides to do. They're not built for these 2-minute drill-esque drives. They like long, sustained drives on the ground, but we'll see what they decide to do here with only 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter. They're going to start out with a run play here to to the near side, but that is met by the Colts defensive line for a short gain. And the clock just keeps to run as it's going to click down here, under 3 minutes left. Sunnyside doesn't seem to be much of a hurry, as they're going to stay on the ground. It's number 28 is able to break away from a few tacklers and pick up the first down. And Sunnyside is more than happy right now to keep it on the ground. If they can come away with chunk plays like that, they'll have plenty of time to move down this field and try to get points before the half is over. Again, up the middle to number 28, and he's tackled by number 7, Jacob Murphy, for the Colts. But that's good enough for another. It's good enough for another Sunnyside first down.
They call it a first down, so big rush by Dustin Archuleta. Sunnyside first down.
3 plays, 25 yards later, and only a minute off the clock. Sunnyside's got to be very happy so far with the start of this drive, and the Colts are going to have to find a way to slow them down. Drop back to pass, and he has number 19 out here open. And he's able to get away from the tackle of the Colts, and he's forced out of bounds by number 4, Jaden Hernandez. And that's another gain of 25 yards and a first down for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. And we were talking about the clock may run out on this drive, but Sunnyside wants no part of that as they've come away with chunk play after chunk play. And they now have it 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line with just under 2 minutes left in this first half. Another handoff up the middle, but he is met right away by Jacob Murphy. That is a huge stop in the hole for no gain, and that's going to force Sunnyside to take their first time out to the half, stopping the clock at 1:40 left. Thank you to everyone out there watching on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever platform you're enjoying this Cochise County Sports Network broadcast. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, get this out there to your family and friends. Show support to Buena High School and the sports program, the band program, the cheer program. All of them benefit from this broadcast.
And if you folks are watching on Facebook Live tonight, we do notice there's a big quality difference between Facebook live streams and YouTube and the live stream directly embedded on our website. Cochise County Sports Network is a division of the Sierra Vista News Network. So if you guys head over to svnn.news/sports, we have a live stream embedded video player there as well. And I'm watching on my phone. It is crystal clear. So definitely check that out if Facebook looks a little blurry. Even if it's just a tad blurry, I'm telling you guys, go to svnn.news/sports, and it's much, much clearer.
And with 1:40 left in this first half, the Sunnyside Blue Devils are driving as they're down at the 25-yard line of the Colts. And they're going to run a reverse to number 4, and he's going to pull up to pass it. And the Colts player's there. Mandrell Garrett comes away with the interception. He's trying to, and there is a flag on the field. A flag came out after the throw. We'll see what this call is going to be. That'll be a personal foul against the Colts. Looks like it's after the interception, so it'll still be Colts ball. The Colts will keep possession of this. It'll be half the distance to the goal from the 20-yard line. So the Colts will take over 1st and 10 from about their own 10-yard line with 1:27 left in this first half. The Colts only have one timeout remaining. They have 90 yards to go. I would be surprised if Coach Thomas is very aggressive here on this. They'll probably hand it off 3 straight times. If he can break one, great, and they'll take it from there. But right now they're just going to try to get to the half, tied up 7-7. And the handoff goes to Bryant, and he finds a little bit of a hole. And he's tackled after a 9-yard gain. And another flag comes out late.
Rush by the Colts. There are flags on the play.
And that is a personal foul against Sunnyside, so that'll be a 15-yard penalty. And now the Colts are in business. They got 1:18 left. They still have that timeout. And they'll have it at their 34-yard line. So they've gained 25 yards already on this drive with the run and then now the penalty. And now the Colts have all the options in the world trying to get points late in this half. Handoff comes to Bryant down here on the near side. He's trying to get out to the outside, and there's another flag on the field. Bryant did get out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock, but that will be a holding penalty against the Colts. And that'll bring up 1st and 20 for the Buena Colts.
This time the penalty goes against the Colts.
Now the Colts face a 1st and 20 from their own 25-yard line. Only 1:06 remaining. So I think Coach Thomas is going to go back to just keep it on the ground. If they bust one, great. If not, go into the half tied 7-7. Colts come out in a 3-wide look with Gio and Jones in the backfield. And they are going to throw it. And Gio finds Jesse over the middle, and he gets a block that springs him. And that's a good gain of 30 yards, and that'll bring up a 1st and 10 inside Sunnyside territory at the 44-yard line. That's a very nice skinny post run by Jesse. He's able to get just inside the safety, and then he picked up a block from, I think it was Caleb Bryant, that sprang him for at least 10 more yards. And the Colts are in business late in the half, and another flag comes out. That'll be a false start against the Colts. Push him back again. And the clock continues to run for this 1st and 15. Down inside 40 seconds. Gio rolls out to the right side. He's looking deep, but he jumped it off low to Caleb Bryant. And Caleb spun out of bounds, and I'll stop the clock at 25 seconds left after 2-yard gain, bringing up a 2nd and 13 from the 49-yard line. 25 seconds left, 1 timeout remaining for the Colts. Just trying desperately to get into field goal position, try to come away with points before the end of the half. Gio drops back, and he looks down the right side, but there's a miscommunication between him and Mandrell Garrett as Mandrell stopped his route short, and that fell incomplete. And I'll bring up a 3rd and 13 for the Buena Colts. The Colts are going to go with a wildcat formation. Caleb Bryant set to take the snap. Gio to his right. And he actually cuts it back and finds a little bit of hole. But he's tackled after an 6-yard gain. And that'll bring up 4th and 9. And Coach Thomas takes his last time out with 9 seconds left. So this will bring up a 4th and about 7 yards for the Buena Colts from their 44-yard line. The wind has picked up as the Colts are going into the wind here. So if they're trying to throw a Hail Mary here, Gio's going to have to get a lot onto it to get this all the way to the end zone. But he does have big targets to throw to, and Jesse Avina and Mandrell Garrick have proved to be tall and reliable hands. So if the line can give him enough time for those wide receivers to make it to the end zone and Gio can put it up high, I like the chances of Mandrell or Jesse to come down with that. So Gio's flanked in the backfield by Jones and Bryant, and it'll just be a handoff to Bryant as he is stopped for a 4-yard loss. And with 3 seconds left, there's a little bit of confusion here as the clock stopped at the change of possession with 3 seconds left. And there's still some discussion going on between the refs. And they put 1 second back on the clock, so there'll be 4 seconds left here in the second quarter. And Sunnyside has 1st and 10. And they hand it off up the middle. But he's going to be tackled after a 4-yard gain, and that'll be the end of the half with the score tied. Sunnyside 7, Buena 7.
Sports fans, welcome to Cochise County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lally Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leone team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, eXp Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Live and in full HD, only on Cochise County Sports Network. Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Jeff Lane, your Sierra Vista Edward Jones advisor, understands this. That's why Jeff Lane is a proud sponsor of the Buena Colts varsity football team here on Cochise County Sports Network. For all of your investment needs, call Jeff Lane at 520-378-3766 or stop by his office at 3410 Canyon de Flores here in Sierra Vista. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Native Grill and Wings has had its own game day rules since 1979. First down, piling on. It's just a celebration. That's allowed here. Well then, touchdown. Go Native.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Lawley from the Lawley Automotive Group. Summer's here and it's getting hot, and so are the deals at all our dealerships. Check out the great selection of Buicks, Chevrolets, GMCs, Hondas, Nissans, Hyundais, Fords, Kias, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Rams we have in stock. With some of the biggest discounts and rebates of the year, now's the time to buy your new vehicle. With over 20 lending institutions, your finance term could never be better. Shop us online at Southern Arizona. Choose Lawley Motors for their next vehicle purchase. Because nobody beats a Lawley deal. Nobody.
They are not superheroes, but they save people every day. Save money, that is. They are energy auditors from SSVEC, and they're helping people save money on energy and informing them about valuable incentives, 0% retrofit loans, and other programs, and saving finite resources and making our country more energy independent.
Maximize your savings.
Call SSVEC about our new energy audit.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Gina Lane, your Sierra Vista Edward Jones financial advisor, understands this. That's why Gina is a proud sponsor of the Buena Colts varsity football team right here on Cochise County Sports Network. For all of your investment needs, call Gina Lane at 520-459-1488 or stop by her office at 49 North Coronado Drive in Sierra Vista. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
As we mentioned, very full halftime. Now on the field is your Pride of Sunnyside marching band. They are under the direction of President Carl Holgren, assisted by percussion instructor Danny Marcetti-Durlin. The band is under the field direction of drum major Ron Yepes. Please welcome the band in their final performance before traveling to the state competition on November 10th. Drum major, is your band ready? You may now take the field in performance. SLN is being escorted by her parents Tanya and Matthew. She has cheered for 2 years, has a 3.8 GPA, and plans to attend Northern Arizona University.
sports fans. Welcome to Cochise County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lolly Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leone team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, eXp Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Live and in full HD, only on Cochise County Sports Network.
And we're back here as both teams have come out to start warming up for the second half. We come in tied 7-7 in this game between the Sunnyside Blue Devils and the Buena Colts. In that first half, we saw Sunnyside do what they do best, which is run the ball. They had 25 rushing attempts for 150 yards, and that's what they want to do. That's what they're going to keep doing here in the second half. They're averaging just at 200 yards a game. But what really surprised me in that first half is their willingness and ability to come out and throw the ball. They came out, and their quarterback was 5 for 7 for 47 yards there in that first half. Last week, he only attempted 3 passes for the entire game, and he attempted that in the first drive alone. So Sunnyside has really proven that they can throw the ball, and that makes them more balanced and even more of a danger for this Buena Colts defense. The Colts, on the other hand, they came away with 71 yards rushing in that first half, a little bit off their season average. We'll see if that picks up here in the second half, see if they found anything at halftime to come away from. Gio was 4 for 8 for 63 yards. Okay. For 43 yards, or for 63 yards, and then Timothy Jones added that touchdown on the ground for the Colts. And in scores from around the Arizona sections, here in this section, the score of the Cienega-Ironwood game sees Cienega up 10-0 at halftime. And then a game that the Colts fans and parents are paying attention to is Maricopa against Gilbert, which sees the number 12 ranked team against the number 12 ranked team against the number 16 ranked team in the state. And number 16 Maricopa is leading that game at half 14-10. And that's a big one for the Colts. The Colts really need Gilbert to pull out that win, pushing Maricopa outside that top 16. And then that'll give the Colts a chance to sneak into that top 16, top 15 to gain that at-large bid to the state playoffs. But none of that happens if they can't pull away in this game and break this 7-7 tie. So going into the second half, the Sunnyside Blue Devils will receive to start, and we'll get to see what the Colts defense has, if they came up with any changes in their locker room to stop that potent rushing attack that has really had their way for the entire game. Another thing to watch is all the penalty flags that we saw in that first half. We don't have a ticker going, but it's at least 7 penalties each way. Both teams are probably approaching around 100 yards of total penalties. So we're hoping to see that cleaned up, see those yellow hankies stay in the pocket of the official a little bit more here. I was just talking about it. So, yeah, both teams are up right around that 100-yard mark for penalties. We don't actually track that stat. We're still developing our stat tracking up here. Hopefully we'll have that going forward at some point. But as anyone that was watching that first half can tell you, it was a lot of yards on both teams. It looked like it was getting a little chippy. Both teams came away with 2 personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conducts. So the refs are trying to keep it in line here. They're keeping it tight to the vest. We'll see if that holds going forward, or if both teams can come up with something to clean up the game. And the refs have now made their way out on the field, and we're getting set here for the kick of the second half for the last section game here in the Arizona Southern section. Cody Pislin for the Colts is kicking it away. We'll see what he decides to do here. He has been known to squib it sometimes, kick that high pop-up, but they are going to let him kick it deep here. And number 4 for the Blue Devils will field at the 5. And he finds a little gap and takes it up to the 30-yard line. That's where the first drive of this half will start at 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line.
First down, Sunnyside.
Colts come out under center like they've showed all game. One back in the backfield. That's going to be a pitch out to the right. That's a good crack back on the outside linebacker, and they find some room out there and take it forward for a first down on the first play of the half. And the Blue Devils pick up right where they left off in that first half, gaining yards on the ground, exploiting this Buena Colt run defense. And that was a great job by the wide receiver for the Blue Devils, cracking back on the outside linebacker, pushing him inside, and that created all the space out on the outside for the running back. And here they hand it off to the first man through. And he pushes forward, and the Colts are able to bring him down after a 4-yard gain. There wasn't much room there in the interior of that defensive line. But the Sunnyside running back did a great job of keeping his legs turning, pushed forward for those 4 yards, setting up 2nd and 6, which is very manageable in this situation. Hand off to number 2 on the outside, and he's going to be taken down by number 3, Jesse Avina, after a gain of 4. And we see our first yellow hanky of the second half, and that'll be a holding against Sunnyside. And I'll take him back, and it'll be about 2nd and 16. And early here on this third quarter, we see 2 trends coming true from the first half. Sunnyside's going to run the ball, and we're going to see flags. Actually be about 2nd and 18 for Sunnyside. And this is where the Colts want them. Sunnyside doesn't really have a deep passing attack. They like throwing it underneath and short. But they've also proven that they can get the yards that they need on the ground as well. This handoff goes to number 3 on the right side. He finds a hole. And Murphy does a great job of tracking back and making that tackle. After a gain of 15, I'll bring up a 3rd and 5. Important 3rd down here early in the third quarter for the Buena Colts to try to get their defense off the field, force the punt. I don't believe we've seen a punt yet from Sunnyside. They've had that missed field goal, the touchdown, and the interception in the previous drives. And here comes another yellow hanky, and that'll be a false start against Sunnyside. Now push them back to 3rd and 10. Pushes Sunnyside even farther behind the chains where they don't want to be with their run-first offense. The Colts have them where they want them, but the Sunnyside has proven throughout this game that they're not afraid of these long yardage situations. We'll see if they trust their quarterback to drop back and throw it a little bit. Buena, what they do is they put their corners out here on islands. So Bryant's out here in press coverage. They'll roll Hernandez over the top. And here comes the quarterback rolling out, but 92 does great to keep contained, and the throw is just a little high as they had an open receiver, number 2, around the 40-yard line, but it's just high and off his hands, falls incomplete. Now I'll bring up a 4th down in a punting situation. Number 92, Damian Brown for the Colts, did a great job on that last play of keeping containment on the quarterback. Quarterback wanted to roll out farther, but Damian was able to get upfield, keep him inside the pocket, and force that quick throw. And we have another whistle here. And they're respotting the ball. I'm not sure what was going on the field there, but looks like we're ready for this punting situation. Snaps low. The Colts do get pressure on and do a great job of avoiding the kicker, and they'll take a bounce around the 20-yard line and settle at the 15, and that's where the Colts will take over for the first time this half at their own 15-yard line. So this is the first time we get to see the Colts offense here in the second half. Oh, they didn't really establish an identity there in the first half. They got a little bit going on the ground, but it was hard sledding for most of it. And then through the air, Gio found some open gaps, but he's hovering right around that 50% mark that he's been early in the season. So we'll see what kind of identity they try to establish here in the second half. And right off the bat, they go to Jones up the middle. And he bulldozes. And he fumbles, and Sunnyside comes away with it. And that is the first big momentum-changing play here in the second half as Sunnyside comes away with the fumble recovery, and they'll take over at the Colts' 22-yard line. It was hard to see from up here who caused the fumble, but it popped out of Jones's hand, and Sunnyside was able to get on top of it, and now puts the Colts defense back on the field. And the Sunnyside Blue Devils keep it on the ground. They push forward for a gain of 4. So the Colts defense have their back up against the wall here. They're going to have to come up with something, try to keep the Sunnyside Blue Devils out of the end zone after that unfortunate fumble deep in their own territory. And Sunnyside's just looking to keep pounding the rock, running up the middle where they've had success all night. Another handoff up the middle. And he was able to keep those legs moving. He pushes out for 7 yards and another first down. It looked like number 2 was met in the backfield, but he's able to slither through a small gap in the defense there. Comes up with the first down, and that'll be 1st and 10 for Sunnyside at the 12-yard line. Sunnyside stays with their 2-back look. They have 1 flex back up there on the top side. It goes up the middle to the first man through, and he's able to drag a few Buena Colts defenders before he's met by number 4, Jaden Hernandez, who takes him down at the 3-yard line. And there is an injured Colt player on the field. So coming up for Sunnyside will be a 2nd and short inside the 5-yard line for him. And Buena's Colts run defense is going to have to come up with a stop. I would be surprised if the Blue Devils do anything but just hand the ball off. And the Colts interior defensive line especially is going to have to find a way to hold their positions against that pressing offensive line. The Blue Devils offensive line is doing a great job of blowing off the ball, pushing the defensive line back into the linebacking core, and that's just creating mess and opening up holes. So the defensive line is going to have to crack down or lock down a little bit, keep those offensive linemen at the line of scrimmage, and let their big linebackers come up and make the plays in the hole for them. The Blue Devils come out with an inverted wishbone. Very old school formation. And it goes to number 3 off the left side, and he bowls his way into the end zone, and Sunnyside takes the lead. And Sunnyside's able to take advantage of that short field, just keeping the ball on the ground for all 4 plays and picking up those 23 yards for their own touchdown. Now they're coming out in their own swinging gate formation that Buena runs all year. And Sunnyside doesn't like what they see, and they opt to take the timeout to talk it over. That's really unfortunate for the Blue Devils. That's one thing you never want to do, is take a timeout on the extra point. It looked like they were trying to set up some sort of trick play, as in for their first extra point, they didn't come out in the swinging gate, and they did here, and just something must not have been right. They weren't happy about it, so they take that timeout. But they're wasting it early on here in the second half with 7 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third. And now Sunnyside comes out in a typical extra point or field goal formation. And the kick is up and good. And Sunnyside takes a 7-point lead here early in the third quarter, taking advantage of that short field after the Timothy Jones fumble. Puts the Buena Colts in a hole again. They're going to have to battle their way back out. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for watching. If you're out there on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button, get this out there to your friends and family. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification, get notified every time we go live. Don't miss any Buena Sports action. And we're ready here for the kickoff, and the Blue Devils have squibbed it every time short, but the last time the Colts were able to take advantage and create the short field, and they're going for it again. And it is fielded by Hernandez. He's trying to get out here to the right, but he's taken down at the 33-yard line. And the Colts will take over for their second possession at the 30, right between the 33 and the 34-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. So we've only seen the Colts for one play, the Colts offense for one play this half. It was a fumble, but they came out and ran it. So I'd expect more of that here. As Gio's in the backfield with Jones and Bryant on his sides. The handoff goes to Jones. And he is met right at the line of scrimmage and tackled for a 1-yard gain. Coach Thomas shows he still has faith in the big guy, even after that fumble on his last touch. Hands it right back off to him. Hands it right back off to him. Keep his confidence high. 8. And again, there's a penalty on the Colts, and that'll be a false start. And that's the first penalty against the Colts this half. Now I'll push him back, bring it up a 2nd and 13. Gio looks for the quick pass, but it's not there. And now he gets it out to number 25, but that is incomplete. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 13. It looks like he was looking for the quick hitter up to the top side to Mandrell Garrick, but it wasn't there, and he came to a second option. And he had it open. It just came off his receiver's hands and falls to the ground. And that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Buena Colts. The Colts send trips up to the top side. And Gio's actually going to get sacked. And that'll be a loss of 3 for the Colts. And there was nothing Gio could do there. Pressure came from, he was looking for a quick hitter up to the top side, and pressure came from his back, and it just wasn't picked up. And he had a clean shot at Gio. Takes him down for the, looks like 5-yard sack. And that'll force a punting situation. And another flag comes out. And it'll be a sideline warning against Sunnyside. And that'll be their first of the game. And Tebow's back to punt it away. Kicking into a stiffening breeze. And it's a low line drive that's going to push the returner back, and that's a great kick from Tebow. Getting it down to about the 32-yard line. That's about a 40-yard punt, flipping field position pretty well. And now it's on the Colts defense to try to get this ball back for their offense. Sunnyside comes out with single back, 2 wide receivers to the top side. Handoff goes to the first man up the middle, and he finds a crease, and he is dragged down after a 9-yard gain. And that's just a quick hitter up the middle. They use that motion from the flex back to create a little bit of uncertainty by the linebackers as they try to flow out quick to take away that pitch that normally comes off that motion. But that opens up holes up the middle for the fullback. And he's able to just run straight ahead, and he's not met until he's 5, 6, 7 yards down the field. This time it goes to the flex back. And he's able to break the first tackle, but he's met by a host of Colts players after a short gain, but not before it's enough for a first down.
The rush by Aspeso is enough to pick up a Sunnyside first down.
We have an injured Sunnyside player down right here near the Sunnyside sideline.
While we have a moment, we would just like to honor the Buena seniors. Congratulations to the Buena High School football seniors as well as their band seniors.
You like to see that. The Sunnyside player is able to get up under his own power and walk off the field. Now both teams are coming back out, ready for play to resume with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left here in the third quarter. Sunnyside has the lead 14-7. Another handoff to the fullback, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage, and there's another flag on the play. That'll be holding against Sunnyside. That'll bring up a 1st and 20. And this has been a storyline for the entire game from on both sides, as all the penalties we've seen. It really makes for a choppy game. It's really hard to get any kind of momentum in this kind of game where there's a penalty flag every 3rd or 4th play. And again, we find Sunnyside behind the chains, and this is where Buena wants them. Handoff to the fullback, and he's able to pull it forward and get all that yardage back. And he's taken down by number 7 for the Colts after a 10-yard gain. And I'll bring up 2nd and 9. And I'll bring up a manageable 2nd down for Sunnyside after they're pushed back for the 1st and 20. And that's really what they've done all game. They push behind the chains and then come up with a chunk play on the ground. And here they hand it off over on the left side, but he's met in the backfield by Timothy Jones, and he is taken back for a loss of 4. That is one of few tackles for losses we've seen tonight on run plays. And this will bring up a 3rd and long. Great opportunity for the Colts defense to get off the field, force a punt from the Sunnyside again, and get the ball back into the offense's hands. Buena's going to go with press coverage on their wide receivers, and the quarterback's going to roll out to the right and looks to throw it back, but he pulls it down. Well, that is great flow from the defense. It looked like he had a little bit of running room, but the defense was able to collapse in on the scrambling quarterback and take him down after a gain of 3, and that'll bring up 4th down. And for the second time, I'll bring up a 4th and 10 for the Sunnyside Blue Devils. This is the second time we'll see their punt team here in the second half after not seeing him at all in the first. Caleb Bryant waits around his own 20-yard line for this. That's a booming kick, pushing Bryant all the way back to the 10-yard line. But he has some green grass in front of him. He makes the first guy miss, and he'll take it out of bounds at the 23-yard line. The Colts will take over 1st and 10. Buena's still looking to establish that identity on offense that they've lacked for the entire first half and here into the second half. Nothing's been consistently working. They've got big chunk plays here and there. Their touchdown was set up by that muffed punt and short field situation. Here in the backfield, we have Bryant and Hernandez flanking Gio, and Gio takes it with the option with Bryant, decides to keep it himself. Gains about 5 yards. The Colts run that option play sparingly, but Gio's proven throughout the year that he knows how to run it. He finds that option man very quickly, and once that guy makes the choice of either tackling him or Bryant, Gio's proven he can make a decision quick, and right there he made the right one, picking up 5 yards. Here he drops back to pass, and he's looking deep down the right side. He's got him stepped, but it's just overthrown again. That falls incomplete. Gio was looking for number 25, Bryce Pryor, on that play. Just overthrown him by a step. Bryce had a couple steps on his defender, and if Gio puts it to him in stride, he might still be running. And that brings up an important 3rd down here late in the third quarter. The Colts really have to come up with something here, try to keep this drive alive. Their defense has been on the field most of this quarter, so they can keep them on the sidelines, save their legs a little bit. That would be huge in this game going forward. Gio rises up quick and gets it out to Bryant, but he is met very quickly, and that's a great open field tackle by the Blue Devils defender. Now bring up a fourth down. As we can bring up another fourth down, and the Colts send out their punting unit. And the Colts have yet to get a first down here in this half, and that just puts the Colts defense back on the field quickly. Tebow's set to punt this away. Fields a low snap. Hits a nice kick. Hernandez gets down there, but the Sunnyside defenders or returner is able to make a miss. But then number 66 does a great job of getting down there and getting his hand on the returner and bringing him down for a short return. And that's where the Blue Devils take over 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. And we're under a minute left here in the third quarter. Sunnyside's up 14-7. And they've really dominated the time of possession here, keeping the ball almost the entire quarter. And again, they're just going to hand it up off the middle, and he finds some room. Then he is taken down after a 25-yard gain. And just like that, the Blue Devils are back into Buena Colts territory with 40 seconds left here in the third. That quick-hitting fullback dive has really gashed the Colts all night. The Colts are expecting it to go outside to one of those flanker backs. The Blue Devils are just handing it off quickly to that first man through, and he's finding space up the middle. This one goes underneath to number 3, but he is met by Jones in the hole, and Jones is able to take him down for no gain. And that's a great play by the Buena middle linebackers. That'll be the last play of the third quarter, and we'll be back in a moment for the fourth quarter.
Sports fans, welcome to Cochise County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lally Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leone team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, EXP Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Live and in full HD, only on Cochise County Sports Network.
And we're back here for the start of this fourth quarter. That finds Sunnyside up 14-7 on the Buena Colts. And Sunnyside's inside Buena territory on the 2nd and 10. Handoff goes to number 28, and he's met in the hole by number 70. For the second time in a row, the Colts are able to keep this running attack to no gain. And another huge third down for this Colts defense. They got to get off the field here. Get the ball back into the hands of their offense. For that third quarter, we saw Sunnyside was able to control the ball most of it, racking up over 8 minutes of time of possession. The Colts barely saw it at all, And during that time, Sunnyside was able to build this 7-point lead. And right now they're just protecting it by holding onto the ball as long as possible, and that's what this running attack does. And we see a reverse to number 4. He has a little bit of room, and he is taken down after a 12-yard gain by Jaden Hernandez, and that'll be a Sunnyside first down. And that's a big momentum play for the Blue Devils, keeping the ball in the hands of this offense that just knows how to churn the clock. Another fullback dive goes to number 28, but he is pushed back by Jacob Murphy. That's not the first time we've called Jacob's name tonight. He has made himself known on the defensive side of the ball. He's been doing a great job from his outside linebacker position of coming up and making stops, and I'll bring up a 2nd and 10. So the last 3 running plays up the middle have not seen much success for Sunnyside, and the Colts have made some kind of adjustment to it. And this time they're going to try the outside again. And Jesse Avina is able to go out from his defensive end position and tackle the sweep for a short gain, and I'll bring up a 3rd and 9. And we were right back to where we were a few plays ago. 3rd and a decent amount for Sunnyside. The Colts have to find a way to get off the field. As the clock ticks under 10 minutes to play, the Colts have to figure out a way to get this ball back into the hands of their offense. Fake handoff and looking to pass it, and he is going to get the ball away before he is sacked, and that'll fall incomplete, bringing up a 4th and 10. That's a big stop for the Colts defense holding the... Oh, there is a penalty flag. That's holding against the Colts. And that'll be a 10-yard penalty, and that's another Sunnyside first down, and that'll put the ball inside the 20-yard line. And right when you thought the Colts defense might be able to get off the field, we get another yellow hanky on it, and I'll give the Sunnyside first down and continue this drive with 9 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. Another quick hitter up the middle to number 28. Another flag comes out on the play. And that'll be a hold against Sunnyside. And that'll push Sunnyside back. And that will bring up 1st and 17 from the 28-yard line of the Buena Colts. Oh, they just moved it forward 2 yards. So call it 1st and 15 from the 26. Another quick hitter up the middle, number 28, and he's dragged down by number 70, but not before he comes away with 7 yards. Clock continues to run, under 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Another run play by number 2. And Jesse Avina does a great job of shedding his block there of the defensive end, at his defensive end position, got off it quick and brought down the carrier for a 2-yard gain. That'll bring up a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And again, Colts need to come up with a stop here. The Sunnyside kicker has proved he has the leg for this if they do get to that 4th down and have to make that decision. But he did miss one from this similar distance. So this big play for the Colts to try to get off the field. It's a pitch play out here to the right. He looks like he's going to throw it, and he gets hit right as he throws, and that's going to fall incomplete right at the 10-yard line. That'll bring up a 4th and 10. Sunnyside tried a little trickeration there. A pitch play out to their running back and tries to throw it, but the Colts defensive line had a lot of pressure there and hit him right as he made that throw. And the Colts are actually unlucky that found a patch of green grass to fall incomplete too, as it was wobbling up in the air for a while. And the Sunnyside sends out the kicker to attempt this 36-yarder. This high snap, and they pick it up. And that's Mandrell Garrick in quick. He's able to force the throw, and it falls incomplete. And Colts get the ball back and will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20 after the holder made a great job to corral that snap, get out of the clutches of Mandrell Garrick, and throw that down the field. And he almost found a receiver. But Hernandez was able to get his hands in there and break it up, so it fell incomplete. So Colts get the ball back, down 7 minutes, 30 seconds left in this game. They have a chance at this. The handoff goes to Jones up the middle, and another flag comes out. And that's going to be a hold against the Colts. And another flag comes out. As they were still marking off the yardage for the first penalty, the head referee, who was standing behind the Buena Colts huddle, threw another flag, and this is going to push the Colts back inside their own 5. This will bring up a 1st and 25 from their own 5-yard line. Jeez. I can only assume, as the head official threw that ref as he was standing behind the Buena Colts huddle, that one of the Colts players said something to draw that flag, and it looks like Coach Thomas is getting the explanation right now of what the play was. And it was a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Colts. So the holding takes them from the 20-yard line back to the 10, and then the unsportsmanlike conduct will be half the distance to the goal, taking them back to the 5. And that's where the Colts will try this 1st down attempt again at 1st and 25. Looks like there's a little bit of confusion with the chains here, as the chains have been moving during these penalty walk-offs. And the Colts are going to come away with actually in a better position than they were, as it's now first and 15 only. Oh, first and 20 only. I am kind of confused with what's going on here. And we're back here, and they got the change set. It goes back to their original position, and that is first and 25 for the Colts from their own 5. To gain the first down, they have to get out to the 30-yard line. The clock ticks down at 17:15. The handoff goes to Timothy Jones up the middle, and he's able to push forward and gets 3 yards. The clock continues to run here. We're under 7 minutes remaining. Colts are now 2nd and 22, it looks like. Down at their own 8-yard line. Gio's in the backfield with Jones. He's got 3 wide receivers motioning Bryant back into the backfield with him. And the handoff goes to Bryant, but he is met in the backfield by the defensive end and taken down for a loss of 2. And this brings up a long 3rd down for the Colts. And there are not many plays in the playbook to come up with 3rd and 24 from your own 7-yard line. We'll see how aggressive Coach Thomas decides to get here. Normally in this position, he likes to throw it deep to Mandrell Garrick down the sidelines. And here Gio's forced out of the pocket, and he is going to look deep for Mandrell, but that's going to float out of bounds and incomplete. And I'll bring up 4th down for the Buena Colts, and they're going to have to kick it away. And we see Parker Tebow come out to kick this ball away. He's going to be standing right near the back of his own end zone. The kick's going to land about the 40-yard line, but take a Blue Devil bounce and bounce out at the Buena Colts 37-yard line. That's where the Blue Devils will take over with just under 6 minutes left in this game. The Blue Devils have first down, and it's imperative for the Colts here to slow down that rushing attack and keep as much time on that clock as they can to get it back in their offense's hands. And the Sunnyside offense takes over. And it's the first guy through, number 28. And he's met after a gain of 13 by Jaden Hernandez. And that'll be a Sunnyside first down.
Just short of the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, Blue Devils.
It's another first down for the Blue Devils as that clock continues to run. The Colts do have all 3 of their timeouts. We'll see when Coach Thomas decides to start using these, as this Blue Devils offense has proven they can hold on to the ball for long periods of time. Another handoff to 28 up the middle. And he's, again, taken down by safety Jaden Hernandez after a gain of 14 yards and another Blue Devil first down. And that'll bring up 1st and goal for the Blue Devils at about the 9-yard line. And it's just been dives up the middle to number 28, and it has worked perfectly for the Blue Devils. The Colts have to come away with a stop as this clock's still going. Hand off to number 2, trying to get on the outside. Cuts it up, and he's able to get in for the Sunnyside touchdown. That was actually number 3 for Sunnyside. Willie Rose with the 9-yard touchdown carry for the Blue Devils. And that pushes the Blue Devils' lead up to 13 pending the extra point. And the Blue Devils are going back to this swinging gate formation that they tried earlier. And they snap it out to the side. And number 2 is able to take it in for the 2-point conversion. And that pushes the lead to 15 at 22-7, Sunnyside Blue Devils. There is a flag down on the play. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Blue Devils. So I'll push them back on the kickoff, so they'll be kicking off from their own 25-yard line. But they don't seem to care. They came away with 8 points, pushing that lead to 15 with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So we'll see with that penalty if this changes the Sunnyside strategy at all. They've pooched every kick so far. They do not want to kick it deep to Caleb Bryant. They've just been kicking it to about that second level for the Colts. And so now with them pushed back this far, if they do that again, the Colts are going to take over inside Blue Devil territory. And they are going to kick it deep. And Bryant's going to field this right around the 20-yard line. He finds a little crease, and he's able to break it open. He gets across the 50. And that'll set the Colts up in great starting field position as they try to score quickly and cut into this 15-point lead. The Colts are going to have to come up with something here on this drive. Down 15 points with 4 minutes, 41 seconds left. The only way they stay in the playoff picture is coming away with a win, and the only way to do that is score right here on this drive. Colts come out with a 4-wide set. Jones and Gio in the backfield. That's a quick pass out to number 3, Jesse Avina, and he's able to come away with 6 yards. The Colts took advantage of the sagging defense there on that 4-wide receiver set. Hit the quick hitter to the slot receiver. Stay in the 4-wide look. Gio drops back. He's looking to the right. And he gets it out to the right to Mandrell Garrick, who gets tackled after a 5-yard gain, but that'll be a Buena Colt first down. And that is the first down for the Buena Colts here in the second half, deep into the fourth quarter with 4 minutes and 11 seconds left. Colts trying to come away with points here, keep themselves in this football game, keep themselves in the playoff picture. Gio's alone in the backfield with Jones again. Gio rolls out to the right, and he rises up and he finds Caleb Bryan on an out route, and he slips down after a 10-yard gain and another Buena Colt first down. Colts are moving the ball here, finding some open space through the passing game. Gio looking to the left, doesn't like what he sees, but he sees a hole develop up the middle, and he pulls it down and takes it for a 1-yard gain. Colts are going to stay in this hurry-up offense. Not much of a huddle to be seen. Gio looks to the right, and he's looking. Oh, and it's off his receiver's hands and falls incomplete. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 8. That was intended for Jacob Murphy on the flag route. And he had him, but it was just a little too high. And Murphy wasn't able to come down with that. This brings up an important 3rd down for the Colts. Gio drops back, and there's a lot of quick pressure, and he steps up through it. He's scrambling, and he's able to pick up 6 yards, and that'll bring up a 4th and a long 2. That was a great job of Gio. He recognized the pressure quickly, and he found an open gap between the offensive linemen, stepped up into it, and is able to make it a manageable 4th down. The clock is still running as it clicks under 2 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the 4th. But this is an important play for the Colts. This is the game right here. This is their playoff lives. And the Colts jump off sides, and that'll push them back. And it'll now be 4th and 8. And that makes it from a very manageable 4th down to a long 4th down. And it's a clear passing situation. As you could see that play develop, they were trying to get it to Timothy Jones up the middle. And it looks like Coach Thomas has decided to take a timeout, stopping the clock with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. But he's got to take the time to talk about this play. This is the most important play of the Colts season, obviously. This is the season right here. They got to find a way to come up with these 8 yards, keep them in this game. And we're back here for this 4th down play. The Colts come out again with their 4 wide receivers set. Only Gio and Jones in the backfield for them. See if they can find a way to come up with these 8 yards. Gio scanning the field, and he throws for Mandrell. It comes off his hands and incomplete. And that'll be a turnover on downs, giving the ball back to Sunnyside with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. The Colts had what they wanted on that play. They had their best wide receiver, Mandrell Garrick, open over the middle. It's just put one step too far to the inside. Couldn't come down with it. And that'll give the ball back to the Sunnyside offense. And the Colts still do have 2 timeouts, so if they can hold them to a 3 and out, they can get the ball back. But Sunnyside just runs a QB sneak and comes away with 9 yards, and he fumbles, and the Colts come up with it. And the Colts will take over again at the 34-yard line after the fumble on the quarterback sneak. And that breathes a little bit of life into the Colts' chances as they get the ball back. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Just over 2 minutes left. They still have a chance at this. And the pitch goes to Bryant. Can't get outside. The Sunnyside defense is there and takes him down for a 2-yard loss. And the clock continues to run. 1:45 remaining. Colts need to snap this ball. Gio drops back to pass. A little pressure's coming. He throws it over the middle, and he finds Mandrell Garrick for the completion and the first down. And it looked like Gio was just making a Hail Mary attempt, so to speak, throwing it up into the middle of the field. He knew where Mandrell was supposed to be, and he just threw it to that location. And Mandrell is able to beat his man to it and get that first down for the Colts. And now it's a quick slant, and that goes through Garrick's hands and falls incomplete, and we'll stop the clock with 1:14 remaining. So the path forward for the Colts, they have to score here, and they have to do it quickly. They have to figure out a way to get into the end zone with as much time remaining as possible and then kick that onside kick and hope for a bounce into their own hands. But that all starts here with trying to get this ball into the end zone. We have trips down here on the near side. Garrick has Mandrell over the middle. Mandrell leaps in, and that's a touchdown for the Colts. 24-yard completion to Mandrell Garrick, and he's able to get over the last defender in for the touchdown, pulling this game to a 9-point game with 1:06 remaining. And Parker Tebow's on to attempt the extra point to make this an 8-point game. The kick is up, and it is good, and there is life in the Buena Colts. 1:06 left, 2 timeouts. Incoming is an onside kick. One of the most exciting plays of all of football. You don't know what's going to happen. The ball's going to take a wonky bounce. It's something you practice only 2 or 3 times a week. So we'll see what the Colts can come up with. If you're out there watching, hit that like button, hit that share button. This game's coming down to the last minute as the Colts are fighting for their playoff lives, trying to sneak into that top 16. And it all comes down to this as they try to recover this onside kick. And attempting the onside kick for Buena will be number 44, Cody. And it looks like they're going to send it down there to the top side of the field. And here it comes. It takes a nice high bounce. Oh, but it is fielded cleanly by the Sunnyside return team. And that was almost perfect. It took a nice high bounce over the first line, but it bounced right into the waiting arms of number 4 for the Sunnyside Blue Devils, and he's able to get on top of it and get down. And with 1:04 left, Sunnyside just needs to run a few plays, get a few seconds off that clock. The Colts can only stop it twice. The handoff goes to number 28 up the middle, and he's tackled after a 6-yard gain. And Coach Thomas takes the quick timeout, stopping with 57 seconds left. So the clock is stopped with 57 seconds remaining. Sunnyside is faced with a 2nd and 4. Buena has to stop them before the first down, and even if they do, they'll use their next timeout after the next play, probably down around 50 seconds or so remaining. And then the Colts will not be able to stop it after the 3rd down play, so it'll run down to about 20 seconds left in the game. And that's the only hope the Colts have, is to get 2 straight short stops here and make Sunnyside punt it away to them, but they can only stop the clock one more time. But they have to come up with, keep them short of these 4 yards. Handoff to 28 again, and he breaks out into the open field, and he is chased down by number 70 after a gain of 22 yards, and that'll be it. Sunnyside will be able to just kneel out the rest of this game, and they will end up taking the win 22-14. The clock just ticks on down, and Coach Thomas will take his last timeout. As the clock stops with 44 seconds remaining, that is the last timeout for the Buena Colts. They cannot stop it. Sunnyside has it 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. They can just take 3 straight knees, and the game is over. And Sunnyside comes out for their 1st and 10. They hand it off to 28 again up the middle, and he's met right away. Taken down for a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8, but the Colts have no way to stop this clock, as it'll just continue to click on down, under 30 seconds remaining. And right now, the Sunnyside Blue Devils just have to snap it one more time, kneel on down, and they'll take the win, taking their record to 5-5 on the year, and the Colts will drop to 5-5 on the year. And as the final whistle blows here on the end of the season, the Colts lose to Sunnyside 22-14. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to Buena Colts seniors, and we'll see you next year.
Sports fans, welcome to Cochise County County Sports Network. Tonight's live broadcast brought to you in part by Lolly Automotive Group for all your new and used car needs. Jeff and Gina Lane of Edward Jones Investments, making sense of investing. Apex Network Physical Therapy, come heal with us. Cochise Lock and Safe for all your lock and safe needs. Check out the Leon team of Nova Home Loans, the highest rated lender in Cochise County. SSVEC, owned by those we serve. Lights Out Family Fun Center. Chiricahua Community Health Centers, health for all. And last but not least, EXP Realty, home of the flat rate contract. Tonight, the Buena Colts varsity football team closes out their season against the Sunnyside Blue Devils. Live and in full HD, only on Cochise County Sports Network.